Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV and welcome to the latest Man City Fan TV podcast. And I'm really pleased because I've got Karl in Washington DC. You may have seen Karl on some of our videos in the past, and I want to say a massive thank you to Karl for coming on tonight. And also we've got Martin, who's a guest on the channel tonight. We are going to get Karl on later, but for the time being, Karl, welcome to the channel, mate.
Andy, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure talking to you, either on social media or on the channel. And Man City Fan TV is fantastic. I really enjoy it. I always subscribe and I get all the pop-ups when you're on live. I really enjoy it. So,
thank you very much, Martin. How are you, buddy?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Martin. I love Martin, man.
You never know whether Martin is like he's depressed or whether he's in a really good mood. You just get a.
I'm actually in really good mood today. Believe it or not.
Okay, you sound like you're actually in a phone box somewhere. Where are you?
I'm in my house.
Oh, are you? All right, okay. Well, listen, we're going to crack on with this. So I know Karl's got you've got some soccer coaching, haven't you, over in the States? So yeah. We're going to move on and we're going to talk about the City versus Villa game. Obviously, 3-0. So, Karl, what were your overall thoughts? We'll come back to specific players and things like that. But what was your overall thoughts on the 3-0 win at the weekend?
First half was throwing the dustbin. Second half, much better. Still not 100%. I thought second half we're probably running at 60%. First half was just, I'm not sure that we were tired or it was an early kickoff. But might as well just kind of throw that in the dustbin and just scrap it.
So what do you think it was about the first half?
I don't know. We just seemed a little lethargic. We just seemed to be not connecting properly. Jesus was kind of a lost puppy running around the whole place. He missed a chance that should have taken. Seemed a little slow. We just didn't seem to click really well on the first half. I think in second half, I think Pep probably gave them a rollicking and it came out much better, much more energy, much more passion, much more control. And we got the goals. Kevin De Bruyne first half was anonymous. Didn't see him, really perform well. Bernardo Silva was colorless. Just really weird. It's weird first half.
Yeah, I must admit, I was in the South Stand and I was watching Gabby very closely. And the amount of times, and I said it in the post-match vlog that we did at the Etihad, he was putting his arms out and he looked really frustrated that nobody was passing him the ball. But he wasn't making many runs in behind. And where I was stood, he had like two defenders behind him, one defender in front of him, and it was almost like David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling. We're almost saying to him, we can't pass it to you. I know you're frustrated, but you're gonna have to make some runs. So, what were your thoughts on Gabby as a whole? Because obviously, he did cut in that first half. He cut a really frustrated figure for me. What are your thoughts on Gabby overall? Obviously Sergio was rested and came on in the second half.
There are some games when Gabby's on it, his energy is amazing, and he really helps the team press high. Right, he has more energy than Aguero, clearly, and he presses high. When he's on, he presses high. He works really well without the ball. He's creating space, pulling defenders apart to create space for other people. But when he's off it, he just looks ordinary. That's the issue. And so I'm caught between this thought about, is he really the Sergio replacement? Can he really carry that mantle going forward when Sergio leaves? If he has this inconsistency, or do we go get somebody else, like maybe, all things being equal, maybe like an Mbappe or somebody else of that ilk? So it's a toss-up for me. I like the guy, and I think he has the potential, but he needs to create more. He needs to show why he's Brazil's number 9 and play that way for us consistently.
But you just mentioned there is Brazil's number 9, but regularly he plays on the left for Brazil. Do you think it's worthwhile? I know Pep was asked this question. He's not going to commit to it, obviously. Do you think it's worthwhile maybe Sergio playing up front and switching Raz to the right, even though I know Pep doesn't want him to go to the right because he wants to cut in.
The game against Burnley last year, the 1-0 game, towards the 60th minute, Gabby came in and played on the left. And we had Sterling on the right and Guerrero through the middle. And we looked really good. We looked really, really good. And I'm hoping that he plays that way again. 2 years ago, against Watford, when we played Aguero and Gabby, 6-0. That to me, that's the best game I've ever watched us play. That game was, and he played really well against Crystal Palace, 5-0, against Liverpool, 5-0. When they play together and he plays on the left side of that striker role, he plays really well. You know, we just got to figure out how to get him playing like that again. But the boy has talent.
Oh, there's absolutely no doubt in that whatsoever, because his stats show it. Martin, you still on?
Yeah, still on.
Okay. What were your thoughts on Gabby? I mean, this isn't the Gabby podcast. I'm just thinking solely about Gabby right now.
See, I mean, I really like Gabby. I do. And I take Karl's point. I'd love to see Gabby and Aguero up top. Just, not just the Watford game, going back to that Liverpool game.
Yeah.
Then when we beat them 5-0. I know Liverpool were down to 10, but, they just seem to click. But the problem is we've got too many midfielders for that to work. It doesn't work when you've got Bernardo. I know Sane's injured. You've got Mahrez. You've got Gundogan. You've got KDB. And I probably missed another 5 out. It won't work with him. But saying that on Saturday, I thought Gabby was a lot more productive when he went to the left wing, where he plays for Brazil.
Yeah.
I just thought he gave us a little bit more energy, a little bit more fight and guile down that wing. Personally, I think in the next 2 years, I could see Gabby becoming a winger in our team rather than a striker.
Does that mean Gabby takes Leroy Sané's place next summer? Karl?
Yeah, potentially, yeah. I mean, he's going to have to change his game, though, because Leroy's a different kind of winger. Leroy stays wide, he's left-footed, and he runs a phenomenal. Gabby's going to have to change his game in terms of patience on the ball. Right? He rushes things sometimes. He, jumps in the air. He needs to be more patient, more deliberate, like Sané, and maybe he could do that. He has the similar pace, just needs more control, more svelte, if you would, on that left wing. Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the game then, obviously the first half was a little frustrating. I mean, one thing that I said in the post-match vlog was when we get frustrated as a team, we tend to try and hit crosses into the box. We try and hit balls over the top of their central defenders to try and get in the back. It rarely ever works. The ball on the floor does, the brilliant passes in between the lines and things, but we were doing it over and over and over again in the first half, and it was very frustrating. But second half, wow, what a start to the second half. Clearly, Pep had got into him, and Raheem was on the score sheet within a minute. So, Karl, what were your thoughts on that?
I mean, first of all, Sterling is... I said this 2 years ago to my friends in the US, Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, and they laughed at me. I said, this kid is going to be like, how Ian Robin used to be on the wing, where you knew what he's going to do, but you couldn't stop him. Yeah. This kid's going to do that. And the guy hasn't been started, I'm telling you. He's phenomenal. Sterling is just a world-class player. His movement, his passing, his decision-making now is just top of the bunch. But I am concerned about one thing, Andy, is we seem to be predictable. We always want to use the wings and overload the wide areas. Why do we go through the middle? The reason why the Wolves were able to get us, they knew that we would put 3 people on the wings to block that area. We had nothing in the middle. Why can't we still play through the middle like we used to play, or take shots outside the box? We seem to be a little bit more predictable, trying to overload the wide areas, and we don't have a chance. We now swing the ball in. So, I don't know, maybe Pep's trying something new, but we need to figure out how to do that. Sterling can play through the middle.
Yeah. And he's played exceptionally well through the middle. I mean, it's one of those things that, again, at the game, you're watching it and you're thinking, right, Gabby's got 3 players. He's got 2 centre-backs and somebody specifically stood in front of him. And then they had, obviously, their 2 full-backs. So they're packing a 5 across there. And it's sometimes you're thinking, oh, you're wanting a David Silva, or you're wanting a Kevin De Bruyne, or you're wanting a Gundogan to suddenly come out of there and run forward and take one of the players away, and it didn't happen in that first half.
I'll tell you the solution. You know what the solution is? Phil Foden. I'm telling you, man.
Well, we'll come to Foden very shortly, but we'll come to Foden. No, hold it. We'll come to Foden very shortly. Martin.
Yeah.
You were where you sit in the ground in the Colin Bell stand. Obviously, that was your area where Raheem Sterling scored the goal, and you would have got a great view of it. It was a flick on. I'm not sure whether it was Gabby, whether it came off the shoulder of their defender. But what were your thoughts, Martin, on Sterling's finish?
Cracking finish, absolutely cracking finish. See, I'm a little bit in and out with Sterling at the moment. Can he be one of the world's best? Yeah. But what he's got to learn to do for me, and maybe it was Pep's fault a little bit earlier on in the season, he went through this 3-4 game spell where he was non-existent in any of the games. Yeah. I mean, we said it on live vlogs. He looked tired. He looked like he needed a rest. Yeah. And that's, for me, the bit where he's got to not change, not up his game, but he's got to learn a little bit. That's where the world's best. Yeah. Where even if he's not having a great game, you can still do that one or two thing where you can influence a game, do something. Where, I mean, I think it was... See, now my memory's not as good as it was being a young 21-year-old that I am. But I think it was the Brighton game when he started this little bit of a not having a great game. I mean, the Everton game we were at, that finish when he was one-on-one. Yeah. That's the difference between Sterling being world-class and Sterling being absolutely great as he is now. He's still got that little bit more to go before he gets to that world class. Don't get me wrong, he can get there quite easily.
I mean, hold on a minute. I'll just jump in here and play devil's advocate. I mean, so far this season, this calendar year is on the same amount of goals as Lionel Messi. Are we being a little tad harsh on Raheem Sterling here, Karl?
I think that the kid can only get better and better. He needs to be more consistent. That's all he needs to do. Just be more consistent. The same performance you gave against Atalanta, against the last game we played. Just be consistent. I mean,
so my question is, if he's on the same number of goals as Lionel Messi, who for me is the greatest player I've ever seen in my lifetime, if he's on the same number of goals in a calendar year as Lionel Messi, he's got 16 in 17 goals for City in all competitions. Is that not consistent?
That is consistent. It's consistent, but I think when you think about Messi, you think about the goals, the number of goals he scores in a season, 40 goals a season. He's still not there yet, right? He still has a little bit to clip on. But the way he played against Atalanta and the way he played against the last game we played last week, if he can play like that consistently, not just the goals, the way he takes the goals, right? Running on the right, coming back in, dribbling two people and taking a shot one time. He plays like that consistently. There's no question. Yeah. There's no question. He's aiming for top of the pile.
I thought he was. I said it in the post-match vlog. I thought against Atalanta, I thought, my Lord, that is one hell of a performance because, wow, he was at the top of his game without a shadow of a doubt.
The assist against Palace. I mean, that scoop. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
No, but that's the point. He can be. I'm not saying he's not. He is an absolute tremendous player. I had him down as my player of the season. I know you said KDB, but I had Sterling down as my main man. But I know he's, like you said, he scored the same amount of goals as Messi. He could have scored more. If he hadn't had them 4 or 5 games where he looked tired, he could have scored more. That's my point.
Yeah, but the thing is, Pep said his regeneration is phenomenal. He could play one game. And he said, I've never seen anybody who can regenerate 24 hours later and could easily play another game at the same level that he did the day before. I mean, he said, these are Pep's words. His regeneration is phenomenal. He's never seen anything like it. So, obviously he's still young. He's 24. He's still got years ahead of him. But moving on to the second goal in the stadium, we had no idea what the hell was going on. I said it was David Silva. And Martin said to me it was Kevin De Bruyne, and I said no, it was David Silva's goal. I thought David Silva had crossed it. Because where we were sat in the South Stand, you just couldn't work out what the hell was going on when David Silva came up on the screen. Karl, what were your thoughts on VAR with regards just to that second goal?
I used to be a fan of VAR. I mean, I was a strong fan of VAR, but the way it's been implemented in the Premier League, man, it just really is disappointing, completely disappointing. I mean, I didn't care whose goal it was as long as the goal went in, because I know once it hits 2-0, I think we're home and dry for the most part. But refs have to be consistent, man. They just have to be consistent. You look at, the David Silva trip against Bournemouth. That's not called for VAR. You look at, the Gabby goal against Tottenham. That's not called for VAR. You look at what happened against Liverpool when Mane ran in front of Aurier, right? In front of Aurier, and they give a penalty. So you're asking, where's the consistency?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's a high bar, and this weekend there's a low bar, right? Everything's overturned. Where are we? So Mike Riley needs to figure out what's going on with the VAR officials and just be consistent all the way through, or else it's going to put people off.
Well, I mean, there was the obviously watching it back when I got home on Saturday night and realised it was Kevin De Bruyne's cross, and then watching what David Silva did, and then what Raheem Sterling did, and then there's been loads of things on social media about why the hell did David Silva point to his boot to say it was his goal. But regardless of that, it was 2-0. We got the decision in our favour, regardless of what anyone thinks. And then moving on to the third goal, which sort of killed the game off, and that was Ilkay Gundogan. So, Karl, Ilkay, what were your thoughts on his goal? And also, my other question is, what are your thoughts on Ilkay Gundogan's performance on Saturday and the last few games he's played in that position?
Ilkay Gundogan is one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League as the number 6. When you play him in a free 8, it's difficult. He has to have the vision in front, the field in front of him to see what's going on. When you play him in a 6, and we learned this last season with a 14-win run when he had to play. When you play him in a 6, the dude is awesome. He played for Borussia Dortmund. He's now doing it for Man City. In fact, there are times when I actually prefer him to Rodri, to be frank, right, as a defensive midfielder, because he understands pacing, positioning, passing the ball, and some interception as well. But when you play him in an 8, he struggles overall. So we got to figure out how to balance that between him and David Silva playing 2-8. It doesn't work, in my opinion. The game on Saturday, Ilkay has a canny way of placing the ball in unusual circumstances. Remember the Barcelona game, the 2 goals he scored?
Yeah.
As always, the goal this weekend was a fantastic bicycle kick into the net, picking the spot beyond the defenders, beyond the goalkeeper, in a flash. Again, was exceptional. Really, really good for him, and happy for him on his birthday too.
Martin?
Yeah.
Ilkay Gundogan, what are your thoughts?
Ilkay Gundogan, I thought he was amazing Saturday. Best game I've seen him play all season. That was the Ilkay that played back end of last season.
Yeah, I mean he was superb today on Saturday, definitely. Karl, I know that you've got to go shortly, so what I'm going to say is 1, your man of the match for Saturday, and 2, what are you expecting out the next 2 games of Southampton?
Man of the match for me was Ilkay Gundogan on Saturday. I just thought that he was phenomenal in that holding role. For the next 2 matches, we only win and win. That's all we need. We need to win. Whether it's 1-0 or 2-1, we need to win, and we need to win.
Goals.
We need to get through the injuries and come back in January with a full team ready to smash the league with everybody back. So for me, it's a win. It has to be a win.
Well, listen, Karl, I want to say I know that you're busy. I thank you for so much for coming on. Don't forget, check out the vlogs tomorrow night because I'm at the game. So check in, and if you're live, I'll be live from the stadium pre-match. So if you're around, come on the live vlogs. But Karl, I want to say a massive thank you, mate, for coming on. I know you're busy, but always worthy of listening to your opinion.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. And then subscribe to Man City Fan TV. Let them hit 15,000 subscribers. They've already passed 10,000. So they're a fantastic channel. I enjoy them. I love talking to Andy. And Andy, I'm going to be in Manchester pretty soon. I'm planning that. I told you before. So
hey,
hopefully we'll meet in person. And then.
Well, listen, buddy. Thank you so much. Go and enjoy your soccer coaching.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Okay, so I want to say a massive thank you to Karl in Washington, D.C. for coming on. I know he only had a little bit of time to come on the podcast, but it was great to get him on because it's always worthy listening to him. But what we have now is we have an Everton fan on, and that's Karl. Karl, how are you, buddy?
I'm really good, mate. Not very good after the obviously weekend's performances, but how are you? How are you and Martin?
Yeah, we're good, buddy. Very good, and I really want to say a massive thank you for coming on the latest podcast, which is talking all about, obviously we were discussing the City 3-0 win against Villa. We're going to talk a little bit about atmosphere in general around the Premier League. Might have a look at, maybe we'll do the defence, Man City's defence first. Maybe that's something we should talk about. And maybe signings for Man City, signings for Everton in January. And then what I really wanted you on for was because obviously we had an issue at the ground as fans on Saturday with VAR. My Lord, you guys got absolutely done by it. So let's take it right the way back. We've already had a discussion with Karl about the 3-0 win against Villa. Karl, what were your thoughts? Have you watched the City win against Villa back? Is there anything that stands out that you want to just make a quick comment on?
Just classic City. You the first half, I was talking to my mum the other day and I said, you're just starting off games very poor recently, but you're ending them magnificently. Great performance from City, great tactics from Pep. You know, you just got half of your best players out due to injury. Laporte, Fernandinho, I thought played quite poor last stupid tackles, but no Kyle Walker, no Laporte, you know, and no Sané, and you still went out there and smashed them. No Aguero really until like the last 20 minutes or something. And you went out there, smashed and played very good football in that second half, and that was something to show. And I think all these idiots saying City won't do anything because of the injuries, you just proved them wrong once again. Great performance and a great win.
Is there anyone, you obviously have watched the highlights back on Match of the Day or wherever you've watched it or whatever, but is there anybody, well, I'm going to ask you two questions as a neutral, because I know you watch City and you watch all the other teams and things like that, but is there any, as a neutral, is there anyone in that game in particular at the weekend, City versus Villa, that you thought had a really good game, or anybody that you thought was maybe a little bit below par?
The people were giving him stick on Chan. I thought Mendy was a 10. He played magnificent, and
really,
fitness. I thought some of the crosses he was throwing into the box was phenomenal. And you've missed that defensive and attacking threat. With obviously Zinchenko not really beat, in my opinion, isn't on the level of Mendy. I think Mendy was one of the main key to unlock that defence, because they played it very clever. They were like, they're going to tackle us through the middle, so let's try and block that off. So Mendy was really key. Someone who I thought played very poor. Well, he played poor, I think, in the first 20 minutes, so to so. But after that, he picked up David Silva, started off the game. I thought it was some stupid passes. Same with De Bruyne. I thought they both put on some stupid passes and some stupid, chances that they just didn't need to do. But the game picked up. If there was one player who didn't really have a positive game from first to the last, I'd say probably, it's hard to say, but if I had to give one, probably Fernandinho. Too many rash tackles, too many stupid challenges, too many late challenges.
Well, I mean, it's always good. Yeah, I mean, we can have our opinions on Man City Fan TV, and we obviously have the people on the live streams and things. So it's always interesting listening to an outsider looking in, somebody who might be a little bit more objective than being emotionally involved in it. It's interesting that you said about Mendy, because I thought Mendy was so-so, if I'm honest. But when I came home on Saturday night, and late Saturday night, I watched Match of the Day, and they were talking about the triangles that Mendy, David Silva and Sterling and everyone were playing, and they really highlighted that as a really, really positive thing. And I must admit, at the ground in the stadium, I didn't really see that. I'll be honest with you. And I'm normally one of the fans that I really want to watch the game, and I really want to look at it from a tactical point of view and look at each player. And actually, when they're showing it, I'm thinking, God, actually, that's pretty decent. Martin, what are your thoughts on that? I don't know whether you watched the Match of the Day back when they were talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have done. I've watched the game back on BT as well.
Yeah.
I'm not. See, anyone who knows me, I'm not a lover of Zinchenko. Never have been, never will be at left back. But Mendy, I do like. I think he's the best left back in the club we've got. I don't think he had a great game for me, and because there was one bit, I think it was the first half. I think Jack Grealish. Don't know if you remember it, Andy, when he absolutely skinned him alive.
Yeah.
And Mendy's normally there for his pace and his power, and he couldn't get back. Now, I'm putting that down to, obviously, he's not fully match fit. He's not fully up to speed. But, yeah, maybe I'd missed it. I don't know. But I didn't think he had a great game for me, Mendy.
I mean, I must admit, I said to the guy next to me in 314, I said to him, you know, what were your thoughts on Mendy? And he said the same thing that I was thinking. He said, he just looks bulky. He looks like he needs to lose a stone or two. Not that we all couldn't lose a stone or two, but he said he just looks very, very leggy. He don't look as quick as he did when he first came into the club. And I don't know whether that's injuries, or I don't know whether that's his actual fitness regime. He's doing a load of weights or something, but he looks bulky. He looks huge.
He has been doing weights, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
But I don't know whether that's because he's having to do weights with his leg, and he's doing too much upper body stuff. But I mean, and there's no doubting about it. For me, on form, I mean, I've said it before. Last season, first 6-7 games, best left back in the world for me. But it's interesting, Karl. You thought he was superb, absolutely superb. What were your thoughts on your own left back at the weekend? I know it's somebody who you have claimed is the best left back in the Premier League. Lucas Digne scored an own goal. He's still a great player. What are your thoughts, Karl?
It was just one of them games where we were very unlucky. The VAR was just shocking, and I think we played very poor and we didn't really fight for it. But I think, you know, it was just a stupid decision, like, from the defence, and I think the defence really let Digne down there, because the centre-back should be on the left wing, and he crossed the ball, but he went. He was just, I don't know, he was doing some sort of mother's meeting with the crowd, at the edge of the box, not really bothering with the ball. And Digne had no option. He had to have he tried to scoop the ball out, but to be honest, I think he wouldn't have had to put power on it anyway. So if he had scooped it out, he would have scored. It was just, there was a win-win situation for them. They had one player on the far post where they would put it in. They had one in the middle where they would put it in. So he scored an own goal, but it's one of them situations where no matter what, their goal was going to come out of it, or we were going to give away another penalty.
The only reason I ask you is because obviously people know, and I've spoken to Karl on numerous occasions about Everton in general, but Digne is one player that Karl is very, very keen on. So as it stands at Man City at the moment, we've got Zinchenko, Mendy, and Angelino as our left backs. You claim, Karl, that Digne is possibly the best left back in the Premier League. If I said to you, would you swap Digne for Benjamin Mendy? Would you?
No.
You keep Digne? You would keep him?
For what? I'd keep Digne any day of the week. I think Mendy's a little bit too injury prone at times, and that can be a problem.
So you reckon? Are you still adamant that Digne is?
Oh yeah, 100%. He's the best left back in Europe, in my opinion. I think nobody attacks like him in Europe. Maybe you can call me biased because he plays for my own club, but no one attacks like him. No one whips balls in, and no one can take free kicks from that position like him. He has his talent, and I've said this to a few people in the Discord and stuff. I can see you signing. I can see you coming in for him.
How old is he?
24, I think. I'll just check. I could be wrong, but I will check.
He's only young though, isn't he? He's not like he's 26, 27. But it's interesting because Chilwell is another left back that City have been linked to, and obviously, I think it was 3 assists at the weekend. So, Martin, what are your thoughts on if we needed to replace somebody at left back? Chilwell, Digne, what are your thoughts on the left back position at the moment?
I really like what's it called?
Digne.
I'm not very good at these pronunciations.
No, we know.
I really like the Everton left back. As Karl will tell you, I mean, I've told Karl loads of times I really, really like him, but I'm gonna go for Chilwell. I think a little bit because he's actually English as well. He's homegrown, straight in. I do like Chilwell out of them all, but if I'm going to be totally honest, if we can get Mendy back fit, I prefer Mendy over all of them. I would like to get Mendy back fit going again, because especially going forward with those crosses across the ground, you can't defend him. You can't defend him when he's crossing them in. And I don't think Chilwell or the Everton left back will do that. I really don't.
No, I mean, obviously at the weekend in particular, Chilwell was superb. And like I've said before, Mendy last season, first 6, I think it was 7 games, 6 assists. I mean, it was phenomenal stats, absolutely incredible. But how old is he, Karl?
Digne is 20. Digne is 26.
20. Oh, he is 26. Yeah, right. Okay.
And how old's Mendy?
23, I think. Is he 23, 24?
Or 1994.
I think it's, so I think it's 24 going on. Yeah, so it'll be 25, going on 25. So, okay, so that's our left back. Defensive wise, Karl, what were your thoughts on John Stones came back into the squad? Obviously, he's an ex-Evertonian. He came back into the squad for the first time, really, for quite some time. He's had, according to the media, he's had a bit of personal problems earlier on in the year. What are your thoughts on John Stones being an ex-Evertonian player, not from Liverpool, but what are your thoughts on John Stones as a player from when he played for you and what you've seen so far when he's played for City?
I haven't really seen much improvement, to be honest. I think he plays the same as he did at us, as he does as you. I think he's very inconsistent. He one game he can look like a Poyer, like a Laporte, like a Van Dijk one game, and then the next game he doesn't do anything. He makes rash. He can't pass. In my opinion, he panics too quick. And I think in a Pep Guardiola side, you cannot panic. And I think when it's all about that calmness, and that's why David Silva's so key, because he's so calm and he does well under pressure. And so does Laporte, Fernandinho, Rodri, where Stones can't. Stones has to kick it out, or he muddles it up with his feet, and a lot of goals do come from his mistakes. And I think he did make a mistake where I think he did pass the ball. If I can remember, I can't really remember. And
he did in the first half. Half.
He made one good tackle though, where he shot, and they claimed for handball, but it bounced off his. He slid and it hit his hand, but there was a very crucial interception, because obviously if he didn't do that, he could have got a goal from that. So he is, he's got potential, but I think his injuries have limited him. And I do see Pep getting rid of him.
Okay, all right. So that's from an Evertonian, and I'm sure there'll be City fans that will disagree, but there'll be City fans that will also agree with everything you've just said there, Karl. So, Martin, what are your thoughts on the defence as a whole? And the same question I just asked to Karl about John Stones, because obviously we're struggling at the moment. We've struggled all season. We've lost Laporte. Fernandinho's come in. Done a great job at centre back, but he's with Otamendi has been in and out, in and out. We've played Rodri there. Stones came back at the weekend. What are your thoughts on the defence? But first off, what are your thoughts about John Stones in particular?
Totally agree with Karl. I think John Stones. I honestly think I think he's the new Jack Rodwell. I think we're never going to get the best out of him. I think injuries are gonna ruin his career, unfortunately. And
it's better than Jack Rodwell, surely.
No, I don't mean his ability. I'm talking about his injuries. Okay. I don't think he's going to get a consistent career because of injuries, and that's just. But Saturday, I mean, I said it. I think I said it in my fan cam. He showed on Saturday why he's not in Pep's starting 11. He looked shaky. He looked slowest. He looked the slowest person in the back line, slowest to react, slowest to move with the ball. I can't get over the I think I can't remember the player he passed the ball to, but he literally passed the ball out, went straight to the Villa guy. And he was one-on-one against him. I don't see a 55 million pound player at the moment.
My comeback to that would be then, do you see an 85 million pound player in Harry Maguire who's done that twice in the last 5-6 games? Same sort of pass that's led to that's actually led to a goal. And this is the future of England's centre-back. Potential captain. City should have bought him. That's Harry Maguire, who's passed twice to a player that's led to a goal. Very similar to what John Stones did on Saturday.
No, I don't. And I think I've been proved. I mean, I think I'm going to do something I don't do a lot. I'm going to hold my hands up here, because I think everyone knows what I thought of Maguire in the summer, and I was a big advocate of bringing him in.
He's shit.
I knew that was coming. No. I've told you the guy I want. I want Ruben Diaz.
Yeah.
And Fifa. But
we're talking about John Stones here. We're not talking about who we're going to come to January signings. But what about?
Well, I watched Pep's press conference on Thursday, Friday, and he got asked the question about Stones. What do Stones have to do to get into your starting lineup? And he didn't answer that very convincingly for me. And I don't think, just from the way he speaks and the way I'm seeing things at the moment, I don't think Pep's got confidence in him right now. I mean, which game was it we played? Palace. He went and left John Stones and Otamendi on the bench to play Rodri and Fernandinho. I admit that's not going to do any good for his confidence, but it doesn't show that Pep's got a lot of faith in him either.
Okay, so I mean, Pep was the one that was bigging up John Stones 18 months ago as one of the best defenders in world football. So if we talk about the defence in general, then if we go to January, will we sign somebody in January, or will it be the summer? Or if it's January or the summer, do we need another centre-back? And if so, I know you said Ruben Diaz, but do you think City will sign somebody? And give me your, I don't know, top 3 potential centre-backs that City might go in for in January or the summer?
I don't think we'll sign anybody in January. I would like them to. The top three, if I could, would be Ruben Diaz, Skriniar, and probably Ake as my top three, defenders-wise. But I don't think we'll sign anyone. I have got my thoughts behind that. I don't think it's just about money. I think there's other things behind it as well. Just my own personal feelings. I haven't aired them yet. I don't think I'm going to do because it's very controversial.
With regards to what? What are you talking about?
I don't think Pep will be here next year.
What?
Just my gut feeling.
Wow. Why?
I don't think he looks happy this year. I don't think he looks miserable. He looks unhappy. He doesn't look as animated anymore on the touchline as he once was. I think there's a lot in this. His wife going back to Barcelona. And he keeps saying that the board won't give him money in January. You know,
well, that's for everyone on Man City Fan TV listening to this podcast. There, you've heard it first. Martin, one of our presenters, thinks Pep Guardiola will not be at City after the summer.
And that's not because I want him to go. It's just a gut feeling. I've not heard anything.
Wow, Karl, are you on?
Yeah, someone decided to call me.
Yeah, it's all right, buddy. But listen, Martin has just said he thinks that after this season, Pep Guardiola is not going to be at Manchester City. What are your thoughts?
Martin can tell you himself. Me and Martin were talking on this the other day. We were running in the Discord, and I brought it up. I said he looks uninterested. You know, now that I think his wife's gone back to Spain, hasn't she? Yeah. And he looks so uninterested. Like when you score, he doesn't have the same like. Last year he was jumping out, running, even in the first few games, running down the pitch, screaming his head off. But now he doesn't look like he cares anymore. And I think with him, like the way he's acting in press conferences, he just doesn't look the same. You see the same Pep. I think even if you could win 4 trophies, you could win the Premier Champions League, and I still think he's going to go.
Oh my Lord, you're breaking my heart, you two tonight. Absolutely, I'm depressed. Right, I'm going to end the podcast here. That's it. Anyway, guys, thank you. Coming on, Andy's going to go and commit suicide now. That's it. I can't believe that you think Pep Guardiola will not actually run out his contract. He's got 2 more years. He's got till 2021.
I'm not saying I want him to leave, and I hope I'm wrong. It's a gut feeling I've got. I don't know why.
I don't see it whatsoever. I see the opposite. I see a bit of like bitterness, a bit of nastiness, a bit of, you know, we're 6 points now behind Liverpool. I see a bit of like in him, and that's what I've wanted rather than this, you know, nice, calm, little sarcastic. Oh, what?
You mean than this jovial, happy-go-lucky manager?
Yeah, no, I want a little bit of nastiness. I want a little bit of, you know, there was the comment from Eddie Jones today when Warren Gatland had turned around and said something about England's rugby team, and he turned around and said, "Yeah, I just wish him I wish him all the best in the 3rd and 4th playoff." So I want that little bit of nastiness from my manager. I don't want Klopp. I don't want, you know, big teeth and smiles and plays up to the
smile.
I don't want that from my manager. I want my manager that will turn around and say, yeah, I've given him a bollocking. Yes, my players are the best. Yes, we're going to carry on. Yes, we're going to do this. I don't care whether the media like him, whether they think that he's not as media friendly as Klopp. I'm not interested in Klopp. I'm interested in what he does on the pitch. And so far, as it stands right now, we're 6 points behind Liverpool. We've got a long, long way to go. There's lots of the cup competitions to come, including the Champions League. I want a manager that's been there and actually done it, unlike Klopp. So for me, wow, I find that quite... Listen, that's your opinions, guys, and you're more than welcome to that. I just can't see it. I can't ever see Pep Guardiola leaving Man City before his contract actually ends. But if he does, you'll prove me wrong. So, moving on to the next thing, which is signings for January. So, Karl, you're back on, mate. What do you need? Does Silva stay, or what you're going to do in January? Because that's the only way you're going to change your current, situation.
Yeah, true. I think he's gone. I think, we can't. Some fans are saying the Silva in, but I'm sorry, you can't be acceptable losing to sides like Burnley. No offence to them clubs, but Burnley, Brighton, they're just not clubs you should be losing to if you're challenging for the top 6. And I came on, the podcast saying the same thing. We had just lost to Burnley after putting in a great performance against City, where I think we controlled a lot in the first half. After you scored, I think we controlled a lot of the game. In the second half, we controlled the first maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and then you broke us down with your passing, your stamina, but it's come to that point where there's no plan B, and that's what you need in the Premier League. You need a plan B, and if things go wrong, then like Pep, if things go wrong the first time, you'll do something else. It's the same for a 4-2-3-1 formation he uses. The fans have been begging for him to stop using it, and he won't stop using it. And when it goes on signings, I think I want him sacked, and the person I want to bring in, it depends on managers. I said in the Discord, it depends on managers. If we get Rafa Benitez, he can bring in very big names. I think. I don't think it will happen, but I would like to see us bring in.
I'll hold you there 1 minute before we move on to that.
Yeah.
So you honestly believe that you could possibly get Rafa Benitez at Everton and Goodison Park?
The thing is, maybe that's just me, hoping, and I don't really think. I just hope. But we aren't playing so good, but we've still got a big name, and we're not as big as usual Liverpool, Tottenham, or Arsenal, or Chelsea, or United, or nothing. But we have got a big name, and probably aside from the normal top 6, we probably are the biggest team out of there. And I think we've got a so-called bigger name, even though we haven't shown that we're good side. We have got one of the biggest names in the league still. And I think Benitez knows. Look, why did he go to Newcastle? I think we can offer him a lot more money and a lot more resources. He went to Newcastle, didn't get the resources he needed. Could get the resources of us and maybe get top 4. And if it's not Benitez, then Mikel Arteta. That's pretty much.
No, that ain't happening. No, I'm gonna stop you right there. Listen. One thing I want to say to you is there is one manager out there that's currently unemployed and looking for a job, and that is David Moyes. Would you take him back?
150%.
Really? Why?
Wow.
No, because if you think of it, when was the most? Well, I don't want to say feared, but since 2000, when was teams most fear of Everton? Under David Moyes, we meant something. We had we didn't play the best football, but we went out there to play. We went out there to get a result. Even if it was a 1-1 draw, we went out there to get points. And we had the thing about us. We had this, they're going to play against us. They're not going to give the ball away. They're going to play. And if they do get the ball away, they're going to get it back. We didn't have the best players. I'm never going to say that. We didn't have the best players, the best quality, but we played, and they played for the badge and the fans, and that's why we work so well. Constant top 4, top 6, top 7, top 8 finishes with a very weak Everton side. And if you can do that with them kind of players, imagine what you can do with.
I tell you what, Karl. We've got somebody in the background there. I tell you what, I hated City playing against David Moyes teams, and for me personally, I think if you could get David Moyes and got your team anywhere near back to where they were, which was not the nicest football in the world, but my God, did he get results for Everton? So, Martin, give me 2 names that Karl's team Everton should sign if they sack Silva.
Whoa. David Moyes won't be one of them.
Okay, give me 2 then. 2. I said 2, not the ones they won't.
Rafa Benitez.
Never happen.
And Jose Mourinho. Because I want to see Karl be bored to death.
Well, he will get that if he gets David Moyes. But anyway, we're moving on. We're moving on to the last subject, and this is one I'm going to throw to both of you. But first off, I've got to talk to Karl about this weekend, and this is VAR. Now, I know, but I watched Match of the Day when I got back from the City game in the evening. My Lord, Michael Keane jumps up for a ball, got his eyes on the ball, watching the ball, falls down, taps somebody on a foot. He rolls around like he's got a broken toe or a broken metatarsal, and he gives a penalty. What were your thoughts on that incident this weekend before we talk about any of the other?
Just pure shock. It was never a penalty in a million years, and I think VAR showing its true colours again. I was watching the FA's, presentation on it, and they said FIFA's and the FA, they said it's to make football fair, and if that's making football fair, then it's an absolute joke. It's ruined matches. It's cost us a game. A very important. It's not important for other teams, but it's a very important game for Marco Silva. I don't like the man, but I think it's a very important game for his job, and it's a very important game for everyone at Everton. And it's another shocking loss, and mind my language, but a shit decision from VAR once again, costing another team another result. It saved us, we didn't get VAR last week, it didn't go our way. But our quality on our side won us the game, but this week it was just shit. It was never a penalty.
Well, I mean, if you listen to what's been spoken about, certainly this weekend, since that particular decision, because it seems like every single week there's always something. There's a talking point, and sometimes there's 2 or 3 talking points. But we heard this weekend that obviously, or last week we heard it, that Mike Riley had gone to Man City and City had demanded a meeting with Mike Riley and over VAR and over everything else. And I'm sure you realise and have seen we've had 3 or 4 very, very, very dodgy decisions against us.
You're being generous there.
Well, just this season. Well, I'm just saying, 3 or 4 that have been Pep's highlighted very carefully without getting banned for talking about VAR. Yeah. But 3 or 4 was highlighted at the meeting with Mike Riley, and he agreed that every single one of them, the decision was wrong. So one of them in particular was the David Silva one, where, if you remember rightly, David Silva was going through on goal and he got a boot on his ankle or on his own boot, which made him fall over and whatever else. And so they highlighted that as being wrong. But it seems like they've looked at that going, well, if somebody stamps on somebody's foot, then it's got to be a penalty, or it's got to be this. The complete circumstances between Michael Keane's and David Silva's were poles apart, because David Silva was going through on goal in the box, running with the ball. Michael Keane was jumping to header where his eyes were clearly on the ball, nothing to do with the man, no arms, no nothing. He just happens to fall down from his jump onto somebody's foot or boot, and suddenly, that must be very similar to David Silva's.
It's just VAR's awful, and I think, maybe I'm going a bit off topic here, with the Arsenal game yesterday, it was like, what's the point of it? It's like they made this so refs have a better viewing game, but yesterday with Arsenal, they got a game robbed from them. They had 2 decisions go against them from VAR. They had the penalty that was never a penalty. It was a clear dive from Zaha, and then that goal, Callum Chambers got fouled, but they didn't give him the foul. They give it to the other team, even though Arsenal scored. They disallowed the goal, and I think with City it's happened multiple times, not just this season. Last season in the Champions League, it screwed you over. It screwed everyone over, and I think they need to put it to a vote to Prem sides if they should take it out, because it's really costing teams. It's costing every team, really, and it's, besides from Liverpool, it's cost us 6 points this season, and it's it cost you your game at Tottenham, and luckily some of the other games where it has gone against you, your quality has gotten you through it. But it's a real problem, and I think if it's going to get the decision right, and I would, we could all agree, couldn't we, if the decision was right, would sit and go, fair enough, credit to the FA, but it's not. It's never right. And it's like, what are we doing? Is it just to make the Premier League look fancy? Because it's making me fall out of love with football. And you wouldn't think that a little machine's making everyone fall out of love for football. It's a joke.
Wow. That's a pretty damning statement and comment there. And I'm going to hold you just there, Karl, because I want to come to Martin. Martin, what are your thoughts on the questions I've just asked Karl about, obviously, the Michael Keane thing and obviously the comparison with the David Silva, because that seems to have what's now made the Michael Keane thing a penalty, and Mike Riley and VAR. What are your thoughts? Forget the emotion. What are your thoughts just purely on the way VAR is going at the moment? We're going to come back very quickly to end the show tonight on the way that it's affecting the atmosphere, but I'm just talking about VAR in particular.
It's totally. I mean, the big thing I want to know is I don't understand why the Premier League have changed the rules. Or not Premier League, Mike Riley. Why has he thought changing the way VAR is implemented in this country is a good thing? I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, just on that before I just go back to you. I mean, remember last year, none of the, I think, if I'm people, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the no English referees could referee last season in the tournament during the summer because they weren't VAR approved, because we didn't have VAR in this country. They then introduced VAR as it stands at the moment in the Premier League. But what they did was they changed the ruling solely for the Premier League this season, whereby the keeper could come off his line in theory. He didn't have to, like the rest of Europe, keep 1 foot on the line. And then we've had comments about that particular thing saying, well, yeah, but it's not one we really look at. It's, yes, he should. Oh, sorry. He should have 1 foot on the line, but it's not one of those we really look at. So so they're already going against their own rules. And then they've changed the whole handball ruling with defenders. So as it stands at this moment in time, Premier League VAR rules aren't compatible to European VAR rules, which means, as Pierluigi Collina, the chief of referees in Europe said, or the world said, well, if they're not applying, referees are not actually week in, week out using the European or worldwide or European refereeing rules on VAR, we can't use them at the next tournament, because we can't have a referee coming in going, well, yeah, I'm used to using some of the rules, but I've never used it in this way. He said, if you're not implementing the European rules within VAR, as all the other leagues in Europe are using, we can't accept your referees within a European competition. So why have the PGMOL, Mike Riley, and everyone else allowed the Premier League to introduce their own, amendments to VAR?
Because the only thing I can think of because I think they seem to think that the Premier League is this global game, global league, all this money, and I think I don't know if he wants to change it to suit himself. To be totally honest, I don't know why they've done it. I can only think is it because of what they saw in the Champions League last year with ourselves in the Tottenham game? Is it? I don't think it's been explained properly why that's been changed the way it has. I mean, Saturday we had how many decisions did we have in our game?
I think there was 6. I think there were 5 or 6 where VAR was brought in, and it was like we were waiting for like a minute minimum to 2.5 minutes for the Sterling or the David Silva. What was the David Silva goal?
And how many minutes were added on at the end? I think it was what, 4?
3 or 4. I think 3 or 4 minutes.
So it's not, and that's without the substitutes.
Yeah.
So it's not even being. And the thing is, I mean, I remember the potential handball we had in the first half when that went to VAR.
Yeah,
that come on the screen. The next one that came on the screen, it was a penalty check, was when Aston Villa got their penalty check on theirs, when I think Ederson clashed with one of theirs players.
Yeah.
And it was just there's no consistency. When what worries me is when I'm spending money, you're spending money, thousands of City fans are spending money, and somebody at home watching the TV knows more about what's going on.
Yeah.
And the paying fan in the ground.
Yeah.
That's when it's wrong.
Yeah, that is my biggest bugbear at the moment, is the fact that when you're a fan who's paid money to go and watch the game, you stood there and let's face it, remember, we at Man City and other teams in the Premier League have screens that show VAR decision or VAR this or Liverpool and Manchester United, if I remember rightly, don't have screens in the stadium that do that. So if they don't have the screens in the stadium, the fans are even more out of the dark, in the dark, at places like Anfield and Old Trafford, because Liverpool have said they can't put screens there because it'll mean moving 1,000 fans or whatever else, and blah blah blah. So, I mean, at the end of the day.
Wasn't that the reason Swansea City couldn't have VAR used in the FA Cup last year because they didn't have the technology? So why is Anfield and Old Trafford allowed it?
Well, I mean, how can you have VAR in the Premier League, which is the richest league in world football, and it's supposed to be about the least they can possibly do in the stadium is show the crowd who have paid all this money to go and watch the game the fact that there is a VAR decision going on, and we get a notification that it's either a penalty or it's no VAR or it's whatever, But at Anfield, there's no requirement for them to change their seating arrangements to suit the fans to have what every other ground in the country has in the Premier League or Old Trafford. And now Old Trafford, I might be wrong on. I don't know. Somebody could correct me in the comments. But anyway, Karl, if you could do anything with VAR, then as it stands at the moment, and to be fair, I think we can all moan about it as much as we want and say shit, it's garbage, it's absolute bollocks, it's being run by absolute bellends, whatever. How it's going to stay? It's not going to be removed. There's no way it's going to be removed. So, as it stands at the moment with the rules and regulations, how would you make it? Forget about telling the fans on screen, because we all know we want to see, like rugby, like cricket, like everything else, we want to be able to hear the referees, and we want to be able to hear the VAR officials discussing it, and we want to be able to see exactly what is going on, and that's not going to happen. But how else would you improve VAR from a regulatory point of view?
Just like what pretty much you just stated, every way I would change it, really. Just tell the fans what's going on and tell everyone how it's got down in the stadium. I think when there's a decision made, or maybe when say someone's been saying, we get told why that's happened or why that goal's been disallowed, not just the goal's been there and it's gone. And the commentators, if I was watching the game away against Brighton on TV, because it was really hard to get tickets against Brighton, the commentators were saying, "Oh, there's never a goal that's been disallowed. That's wrong. It's always right." Because you can't, you don't want to, get maybe a little telling off the FA, but the FA just need to get rid of it, and that's all I can say. It's ruining football.
So when you say it's ruining football, what is the effect of VAR on you as a match-going season ticket holder at Goodison Park? What is it that it's ruining? Because people, it's a random statement that people, people put on Twitter and social media. What exactly is it ruining for you?
Because the whole point of football is you have referee, linesman. When I was young, when I was free learning football, there was never a big computer that tells us what the decision is. Never. So why do we have it now? It's just basic rules of football, and it's if I said this before, if the decisions were right, I'd be fair, but they're never right. They're always wrong. There's not been one right decision in the Premier League, in VAR. So it's like, what's the point? I'm going paying loads of money to see referees fuck our team over pretty much.
Yeah,
that's the way it is. It's biased. In my opinion, I think it was brought in to stop City. That's why it was brought in, and every other team's had to pay the so-called the backlash of it, and it's just stupid. It shouldn't be in the Premier League.
So let me get this right. Oh, I'm going to stop you right there. That comment you just made there is going to go fucking mental when people listen to that. You actually believe, as an Everton fan, a season ticket holder, where you're in the Gladys, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you're telling me here on this podcast, you honestly believe that it's been brought in to stop Man City winning the league? Really?
Well, look, what's the bit? I don't have a problem with Man City, but if you adult fans, what's their main problem with the Premier League? What do they say the main problem is? Man City and their, money, because they say financial fair play don't do anything. So they've brought VAR in. If you look at the statistics, I checked before I came on, statistics in the world of football, any international team, any football team, the biggest team to have the most decisions that are wrong against them is Manchester City. And you can say maybe it's just, coincidence, but it's not coincidence. And all the and they're very easy to check. The Jesus one, the ball bounces off the Tottenham player and fell to Jesus. That's not offside, but they said it was offside. The fouls that have been committed from City that way and fouls and have been put to VAR are wrong. The FA don't want Man City winning the Premier League. It's obvious. So they've brought this in, and I know I'm going to get a lot of shit off people, but it's true. It's obvious why, if it was so, not biased, why are they giving Liverpool all this, penalties that weren't penalties? Look at the last two games, they've been given penalties that were never in millions of years penalties, but they're getting penalties. But you've had penalty shouts that haven't been penalties.
Wow. God, I'm gonna wait. I'll await the comments below this because many City fans have been saying exactly the same thing. So to have a neutral coming on, so you know what you're gonna get though with that though, Karl. You're an Everton fan. You're gonna get the dippers are gonna come in and go, whoa, no, it's only because he's only saying that because he's an Evertonian. But wow, that is.
If I was a Brighton fan, if I was a Burnley fan, if I was a Tranmere Rovers fan, I'd say the same thing. It's clear and obvious. If I was a Liverpool fan, it's clear and obvious. Why, it's just clear and obvious.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Martin, what are your thoughts on that? Karl has made some pretty strong statements there. And every single one of them, I can't disagree with, but I'd be accused of being, Andy, Man City Fan TV is just going on and on and on about this. I'm just leaving it over to you guys because I'm just hosting the show.
I think we could do a whole new podcast on that.
Wow. Yeah.
Where do I start with that one?
Well, you've got 5 minutes, so. Just say what you need to say on. I think Karl spoke very eloquently there, gave reasons why, and I honestly, I would say exactly the same thing, but I can't because I'll be accused of being biased. So Martin, what I know you're a City fan, but is there anything you disagree with what Karl said, or do you think the same and more?
It was brought in by a certain cartel to keep City down. It's even been documented but about the cartel, and I'm not going to go into the clubs because I think we all know who they are. David Gill was on UEFA board at the same time when he was chief exec to Man United. Funny that, isn't it? I think we all know why it was brought in. I think it's funny how it's suddenly gone quiet again for 6 months, considering we were getting chucked out of Europe and banned for 5 years, within 24 hours. And now it's gone quiet again. I suppose, if City go top of the league again, it'll all come back out again, won't it?
Anyone heard anything that's happening? I thought the 16th of October was the hearing for the Bernardo Silva, Benjamin Mendy tweet thing. No. Anyone heard anything from that? That was, 13 days ago?
It's funny how that's gone quiet as well, isn't it?
Well, I mean, obviously, Martin, you know that I've shown you some documents and things like that, and I've told you about some stuff that is about VAR and to do with referees and to do with potential match fixing and things like that. Obviously, it's something we're not going to go into in this podcast, certainly, but it does, with Karl's comments there, your comments there, it does make you wonder. And like I said, I was warned off by, let's say, some people I trust in the media, a couple of friends in the media. I was warned off from doing a podcast about betting across the Premier League, referees, things like that. So I haven't done it. It's not to say that I won't do it in the future, but certainly at this moment in time, it's not something until I do a little bit more research and get my facts and make sure I'm legally sound on doing something like that. But I think what Karl said, I think what you've said, Martin, proves that there is something behind it, and people cannot honestly say it's a conspiracy theory by Man City Fan TV or City fans or people who don't like Liverpool. Or there is definitely something going on. What it is, I have no idea.
It'll come out one day. I think probably when I'm an old man, it'll come out like all these things do. You hear about Brian Clough and Don Revie and all these things that have come out, haven't you?
Yeah.
20, 30 years after the fact, and just one of them things, I guess. It was going on 20, 30 years ago. It'll go on for another 30, 40 years, I imagine.
Karl, final words?
Just thanks for having me on, and same to you, Martin. Thanks for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Sack Marco Silva, isn't it?
Sack Marco Silva and bring in Pep Guardiola.
Listen, Karl, you're always a star coming on, mate. You talk a lot of sense, and this is Karl. He's an Everton fan, but he's very impartial. And don't forget, he does slag off City players and City, so it's not like we brought him in on the inside because he does give his honest opinion on City fans and Pep and everything else. So hence why we wanted to bring him on tonight, especially because of VAR, which obviously absolutely destroyed Everton at the weekend, which is an absolute disgrace, in my opinion, anyway. And so, Karl, I want to say a massive thank you to you.
Thanks, mate.
Martin, cheers, buddy, for coming on the podcast. We had Karl on earlier, and I want to say a massive thank you to Karl for coming on. I know we had to rush off to do his thing. But anyway, this is the podcast, and this is all about the weekend results. Obviously, Everton getting done by VAR. City winning 3-0 at home to Villa. We've spoken about January transfers. We've talked about VAR. But if you want to, don't forget, you can listen to this back on our YouTube channel, or if you can get it on SoundCloud, and it's free, absolutely free. Just download the app. It'll be on there later on tonight. And guys, I want to say a massive thank you again for coming on to Man City Fan TV podcast. And Karl, take care. Hope things turn around for you, buddy. And Martin, cheers, buddy. We'll speak soon. I'll be at the Southampton game tomorrow night. And don't forget, check out all the videos, pre-match, post-match, etc., like we normally do. So take care, guys, and thank you for coming on.
Cheers, Karl.
You too, mate.
Take care, guys. See you soon.